it's like the average 15-year-old in Denmark drinks twice as much as like an average 15-year-old in like any other country in Europe.
I bet the UK would
Yeah.
beat
I thought
them.
they were like incredibly anti-alcohol, weren't they?
No. Before we begin, I'd like to inform everyone that as an experiment, I'm at 0.5% alcohol blood ratio currently.
Yeah. I had to run downstairs and get a beer before we started.
One beer for the boys, yeah.
Yeah.
Stay.
Another round is what we're talking about. By the way.
By Thomas Vinterberg. Is that his name?
Yeah, Thomas Vinterberg. We'll call him that.
So they're all pissheads. Is that
Yeah,
what we're
the
concluding?
Danish and nutters, basically, yeah. Did you not get that through this film?
Oh no, I assumed that this film was getting at the youth of Denmark being a little bit outlandish.
But deeply they care about their education.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did surprise me though, because like the UK aren't too shy when it comes to.
I think
youthful
surely we'd
drinking.
beat in Denmark. I do not believe
Yeah,
the
it's like-
Danish youth drink more than we do. We are legends.
It's an exploration into the drinking culture of Denmark and just alcoholism in general, and
I think how society views alcohol as well is a big thing.
like the lessons it can teach, if you will.
The study that they commence.
Yeah, I really love
Yeah.
that they frame it as a study, as almost an excuse.
Yeah.
Like they're justifying it in their mind because it's like, oh, we're doing a study, it's an experiment,
Yeah,
but really they've got all these life questions they need to answer.
Yeah.
yeah, that is exactly what it is. It's just a means for justification because they just want to do this. It's like the PE teacher. He's not fussed about a psychological.
He was
study
already
Yeah.
an
or the
alcoholic.
philosopher. There's that bit on the football pitch where Specs or whatever, it's like, can I have a bit of your water? And he was like, nah,
Yeah.
you can't have this,
I
mate.
actually love
It's probably
that.
just like pure gin or something.
The first time that you see Mads drinking alcohol is in that like really fancy restaurant with the really fancy champagne, and the waiter's giving him all this bollocks about how it's made from the thighs of virgin fish and all this stuff. The next time he goes and drinks alcohol alone, it's like he's in this like dirty, crabby little toilet with writing on the wall. He looks like he's in a crack den, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
He's in a
Well,
school,
he pretty much is.
but he's in a crack
Yeah.
den. And I loved that because it's like society has just decided that drug taking is okay if it's alcohol.
And if it's in this like
Social
in
setting.
the restaurant, the social
Yeah.
setting, even though they're all really drunk and loud and shouting and dancing aggressively,
And like disturbing other
and
people.
they're all like clapping. People
Yeah.
are like clapping at them.
Yeah.
everybody
So,
loves
yeah.
it.
Yeah. This is an incredibly human film, and I'm always here for like ridiculously humanistic films because they're always such good times. I got very sad. It's like it almost ruined my day at parts.
I cried. I genuinely cried.
But I came out of it like very, very happy. However, I mean, we'll get on to the end scene later, but it's like I don't know how to feel. George knows how I feel about people breaking out into sing song and dance
He's
at
not,
random
he's not a
moments.
singy song kind of guy, yeah.
I kind of wish it didn't end like that, but like in Marriage Story, when Adam Driver starts singing, it's like I can understand.
Don't you compare that to this?
Being alive.
Being alive.
They're not comparable.
No,
They're
but
not
it's like I can
comparable.
understand why people choose to do that in a film.
Tonally and thematically, it's very sad and depressing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's these breakout like drunk scenes with the lads
Yeah.
almost make it a comedy in ways when it's like
Well, it's a
so
comedy
not
drama,
that.
isn't it?
But it's so
It's like
not a comedy, but it
Yeah, but
is.
it's like a situational comedy.
Yeah.
It's like if you I think if you like had experience of alcoholics or like drug addicts or anything like that, it's like it definitely is quite a dark film at its heart. Like what it's talking
Yeah.
about, like a lot of people in this world struggle with. But it's about like that resilience, isn't it? It's about like embracing life no matter the hardships and just living in the moment and being open and, you know, as they say, like musical with the people around you. And that's like that's a really beautiful message from the film, to be honest. It's like it made me feel so positive about people and their attitudes.
It really made me miss pubs. Like I really
Yeah.
like It made me miss like human interaction with strangers like so much. You know, like when they're in the pub and they're like he's playing.
He's
the
like
piano
naked on the piano,
Mads
getting
is
wild.
dancing on the thing. Yeah, it's just like I just want to like be around people.
At least these films kind of like give me that small part of that emotion.
It's like vicariously going out with the boys.
Yeah.
Going back to what I said about their kind of trying to get back to that like adolescent happiness that kind of comes with like their attitude towards drinking and stuff. It's almost like that alcohol in general was a kind of symbol of happiness, and it kind of went beyond drinking like a lot of times in a way that's like they were trying to maintain this constant level of happiness that's like good enough to be like a better person, but then ultimately you can't be happy all the time, and then when you are, it ends up being destructive and horrible. It's almost like alcohol in life is this like representation of this balance that you have to have with happiness and hangovers. like you know, it's quite a good symbol.
I think like I was watching an interview with Mads where he was talking about that like magic moment that everyone gets after 2 glasses of wine, and like the spirituality and how throughout history for thousands and thousands of years people have been using it to like get closer to God and shit and all this stuff. But it's like the reality is once you go past the 2 glasses of wine, it's like things start going downhill very fast. It's like the diminishing returns of like alcohol to pleasure starts like drastically shooting down into the deep pits of depression. I think now was such a perfect time for a film like this to come out because everyone globally is so disconnected from people that it was nice to just watch a film that just felt so intimate and so human. And it really felt like it was like in the moment with these people. The cinematography was absolutely phenomenal at just like bringing you into these rooms with these people and feeling intimate. I wrote down Terrence Malick wants his cinematographer back.
I thought it was very Lebetsky style.
Yeah. I'll say like the cinematography was great, and I think it worked. The cinematography works better as like an entire thing rather than like particular shots.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if I could pick out moments and like particular shots. I'm like, wow.
It's like there were no shots that stick in my mind.
Yeah, but like as a general vibe, it felt very like clean and meaningful in its like its simplicity in a lot of ways, but like it wasn't just for the sake of it like a lot of fucking A24 films are.
The film, I think, feels like it's in this perpetual state of mourning.
Yeah,
it's like the mood is very, it's almost like it's like a grieving for like a loss of something, whether it's a person or a feeling or happiness or youthfulness. It's like there's something lost there and they're trying to regain it through alcoholism.
Anybody see about Ida?
Ida?
I recognise that word. I've read that.
So Ida Vinterberg is Thomas Vinterberg, the director's daughter.
Right.
A lot of the inspiration for the film came through Ida telling her dad's stories of the drunken exploits that her and her friends would get up to.
Yeah.
4 days into the shooting of the film, tragically, she's in a car crash and dies.
I see.
So Mads' 2 sons, it was originally meant to be 1 son and 1 daughter, and the daughter was going to be played by Vinterberg's daughter.
They're using her school. All of her classmates are like going to be Mads' class. Like, if you're Thomas right here, what the hell do you do? So he takes a week off shooting, and in that time he rewrites a lot of the script.
Right.
He said that it would have felt wrong if he didn't embrace the emotions he was feeling at the time.
Yeah.
And it changed from somewhat of like a celebration of the history of alcohol and still showing a positive and negative side, but it was kind of more celebratory.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that it originally started as a celebration, because I do think that this film
that creeps through.
It does come out of it, not advocating for the use of alcohol, but definitely
it's showing the positives.
It's definitely giving the positive side more worth. It's like, okay, Tommy dies. It's incredibly emotional, but it's not like it's slamming it down your throat like the bad side of alcoholism. You see the bad side of alcoholism, but I don't think it was honest enough. I feel like that culture of alcohol abuse not being drug abuse is still, even though this film is being aware of that, it's still there.
Every time I see them drink after that, I'm like, you were right there, lad.
Yeah.
You're not going to become a raging alcoholic at any second.
Yeah.
This is where I also thought it was slightly problematic, because it's like their buddy mate dies at sea because he's a bit of a weapon when it comes to drinking, and then the first thing they do is just go to a pub and have a beer for him.
And it's like, this stuff has literally killed their best friend. So she ruined his life. And not only that, they encouraged it. These three sat round drinking, have encouraged him to fucking go off the deep end. Yeah. I think it's like, that's why I'm conflicted, because I absolutely love this film. I think it's incredible. And I think what it's doing and how it's doing it is amazing, but I do think
I've never seen a film talk about alcohol like this. It's like the only good film that talks about alcohol, and alcohol is
a very difficult subject.
I think it's slightly problematic that he wins in every aspect of his life. Like, after being like a relatively awful person at times, you could say that, like, the lesson learned in the downfalls of alcohol was through Tommy. That's where that part of the story is. But it's, I think it's slightly problematic that he is completely successful at the end. Everything has come full circle.
The wife just sort of texting him once and just being like, do you want to try again? Do you want to, like, get a coffee and try that conversation again? Not, I miss you, let's get back together, right?
Because it's like he's
instead
won
instead of just winning that part, because that's not how it fucking works. It's like, you need to try again.
There's no redemption there. There's no redemption. Like, there's redemption in his life as a teacher and as a person, but there's no redemption in his marriage. So I don't understand why they all rise up at the same level, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
they all kind of meet at the same point, because they shouldn't. What a life! What a life! But also, if we're going to talk about the dancing, I have a great fact here.
Because it's not dancing though, is it? It's hardcore parkour.
It is just hardcore parkour.
You mean jazz ballet?
Jazz ballet.
Jazz ballet. Yeah.
There's nothing jazzy about it.
His background stems from professional dancing. He used to be a professional dancer,
but he hasn't danced one time in over 20 years.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah,
I can really fucking tell, because it's not good dancing.
The director, because obviously they're pretty good mates, I see.
Yeah.
He wanted us to, like, see if he could still dance, and that's pretty much like why.
I see.
Because they could have used like a dancing double, but it's like it's all Mads doing his own dancing. The legendary freeze frame at the end. You can see
I
that as, like,
absolutely love a freeze frame ending. I do.
I do love a freeze frame ending, but like I guess you could interpret that as like he's leaping, it freezes, you don't know, he's ultimately going to fall again, but like at this point in time he's frozen in this kind of like like this rising state of euphoria, but like we all know that like beyond this freeze frame he's going to crash into the water, and maybe that's why there's success in his marriage, because like ultimately he's just going to fall again.
Right then, what would everyone rate this one?
Actually, I'm gonna be the pioneer here. I was gonna give it 3.5. Now I'm giving it 4. I'm giving it 4 stars out of 5.
Okay.
Right, the film is a 4.5 star film, without a doubt in my mind. But I think that the ways that it can be read are dangerous, and that for me makes it a 4-star film.
And I give it 4.5 stars because I'm an alcoholic in my heart.
Yeah. Also, I really need a wee. This beer's gone straight to my bladder.